Hi, Leann Rardin, owner and photographer of Main Street Gallery in Arcola.
Leann, I understand that you had another career in mind when you were growing up and actually started in that career. Can you explain that to us a little bit?
Oh, I can. I knew all my life I was going to be a nurse. I loved taking care of people. I loved giving them their dignity and some comfort. I knew I was going to be a nurse, and I was. I was for almost 20 years, 25 years.
Recent to start of photography, I understand there's a date that changed your life. Explain that moment to us.
It did change my life and my family's life. Christmas Eve, 1999. I had been having some health issues, and we weren't sure what they were, but I had the family Christmas at home. My entire family was there. I went up to check on I was going to go up and check on the kids. And I made it halfway up the stairs and my legs just quit. And I went down. Horrible feeling. But I knew that whatever was wrong had finally decided to show itself. And I just sat on the stairs until my husband spotted me. And because I didn't want to ruin everybody else's Christmas. I didn't want that to be part of the Christmas. So I just sat there. I couldn't move. And my husband finally come up and helped me down the stairs, but I'll never get the look of sitting on the stairs and watching my entire family have their Christmas. And it was probably our last big family Christmas, because I was diagnosed on New Year's Eve, 1999, with myasthenia gravis, which is a neuromuscular disorder, and everything changed. I was no longer a nurse. I wasn't the caregiver anymore. They were taking care of me. I was the patient. And believe me, nurses and doctors are not the best patients. We're not. But for 13 years, very aggressive treatment. Walking was an issue. I couldn't walk anywhere. But I had, it's kind of like a dialysis treatment 3 times a week. Over in Decatur, I had ports. I ended up, before it was all said and done, with 9 different surgeries. But I came through it because I had a support base. My family never quit. They were always there. But I wasn't a nurse anymore, so I had to decide who I was.
So how did that lead you to becoming a professional photographer?
Had a camera in my hand my entire life. Mom and Daddy bought me one when I was around 7 because I got tired of me yelling, "Stop, I want to look, I want to look at it," the phrase, "take a picture." Yeah, well, that's what it became. And, I've always had a camera in somebody's face, let me put it that way, or taking pictures outside. So when I was home with nothing else to do, I took a lot of internet courses, online courses. My husband purchased my first professional camera for me after I got back on my feet, which in itself is a miracle. I feel like I came through it. I came through the other end, and this is where I am. This is my celebration. This is my testimony that life and God is good. And that's what I want to show with the art gallery here. He puts beauty in front of us no matter where we're at. We don't have to be in some exotic place. The prairie itself is an amazing place.
How did you get started here as a business here in Arcola?
Well, I started about 5 years ago, and it was going to be predominantly portrait, but my landscapes started taking off, and it kind of shifted from the portrait to the prairie scapes, the landscapes, and this is where I'm at. This is showing the prairie, celebrating the prairie and the heartland. But somehow gradually it just shifted from the portrait side to what you see on the walls here. I still do portraits, but that's not what the business became, and that's where I'm at. I just moved to this location back in September from down the street, and it's been an amazing move for me because it's an actual gallery and it does showcase my work.
How did you find this place? How did you know to move a block away from where you were originally?
I knew this place had been restored to be used as a gallery, and the artist that was supposed to retire here, this was going to be her retirement, but she too has a neuromuscular disorder, but she's not as fortunate. She's in a chair, so she never got to use it. And when I called her and asked her if I could have it, she got all excited and she goes, "All right, it's going to be a gallery, a true gallery with a local girl." And she said, "I'll just live through you. I'll live my dream through you." And that's how I found it. It was open. I asked, and here I am.
So why do you do what you do? Why do you do these portraits, and what inspires you to take a picture of something?
Good question. Why do I do it? I do it, like I said, I've been here my entire life, and I think it's a beautiful place. We're more than corn and beans and flatlands. It's out there. I go on what I call shoots, and someone drives for me and I yell, "Stop, stop," when I see it. And when I get behind my camera, nothing else really exists. And I get lost behind it. And because it shows me too, it reminds me how what a beautiful place we live in. And I want to convey through my work a sense of peace, a sense of beauty. I want it to be more than a picture on your wall. I want it to mean a little something when you look at it. Take a little something of it with you. And I think most people do feel that way about my work. I have a couple of pieces that are the cornerstone of the business. One of them is called The Road Home. That is the very first piece I started with. Because I believe you can go home again if you want to. People say you can't, but I believe you can. And that one is, that's the one that probably represents this business the most. That one, and then Rosie on the bridge, the Chesterville Bridge, of course. Perfect timing there, right place, right time. And she let me take her picture. She didn't tell me no. But the road home not only represents the path that I got started on with my cameras, it does represent the fact that we all have a decision to make, to go home or not to go home sometimes in our life. And I like to think it makes it a little easier when you look at it and realize that it might be a long journey, but you can get there if you want to.
What do you see in something that makes you stop the car?
I don't know sometimes, and I've often wondered that myself. There's just something, I've driven past most of this stuff my entire life, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've got to take a shot of that. And what it is, I don't know. It's just something that I think I see it. I just don't recognize what I'm seeing until I get it framed with the camera, and then I'm lost. I may have. It just depends. I may have 50 different shots of that same area when I come home. I may have one. I don't know. And for some, it's just amazing. Like the guardian, the tree, the huge sycamore. We were out driving in the country. I was on a shoot. My friend was driving. We rounded a corner, or a bend on the country road, and there it was. It was like, whoa! Somebody had to take a picture of it, so I did. And it's just out there. It's just there, and I really can't tell you what makes me yell stop. I can't tell you what makes me get behind the lens of the the camera. It's just, there's just something there that I'm supposed to see, I believe, and share it with others.
What do you think is your customer base? Who purchases the prairie pictures?
Most of my returning clients are out of Chicago and St. Louis. A few from the Indiana area, but not so much. But Chicago especially, I have returning clients because they'll see a piece, they purchase a piece, and then they come back 3 or 4 months later and purchase another one because, and every one of them tell me that it slows life down just a little bit for them. You know, it takes the hustle and bustle away for a while, gives them a place that they can forget all the stress that they're under in the city, and that's what they want. They want the peace and the quiet and a little slower tempo for a little while, and that's why they come. And every one of them tell me that that's why they purchase them. So that's what I want to do.
So they're not necessarily from here.
Right.
But they appreciate what the prairie has to offer.
Exactly. It's so different. It's so different from what they're used to. You know, Chicago, St. Louis, they're moving constantly. And the prairie changes, but you don't have to move to see that. You don't have to, the peace and the gentleness of it is what I think that attracts them the most. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want them to see and feel. And they do. Now local people, they're supportive, but you know, they've seen it all their life too. They drive by it all their life. So it is the tourist people, people from even Champaign-Urbana, Effingham, different places that they don't see all the time. And that tends to be my client base. It's located in Arcola on Main Street at 126 East Main. The building is amazing. It's been restored with the lighting and the tin ceilings, and I don't know, do I say I'm right across from the Dutch kitchen, which is an easy way to locate the gallery, because sometimes it's hard to see because the front of the building is so flush with the rest of the buildings, but it's on the window, 126 East Main Street Gallery. And yes, I do love people coming in here because it makes it personal. When they hear the stories about what's on the wall, it becomes personal for them. It's more than looking at it on the internet. And when they walk in, I can usually tell exactly which piece that they go to because they keep going back to it. And they'll look around, but they go back to this piece. They'll look around, but they go back to this piece 2 or 3 times. And when that happens, I know that they're going to look at all of them, but that piece is the one that reached out to them. So, yeah, looking at it through the gallery versus on the internet, totally different. I have a website, www.mainstphoto-arcola.com, and most of my work is on there. You can open up the galleries. I have a lot of barns, probably from every season. I shoot every wooden barn almost and every iron bridge that I see because we're losing them so fast. My grandkids aren't going to know what they are, and they're part of our heritage if you grew up around here. So they're all on my website, and all you have to do is either email me, which is on the website also, or you can give me a call, and I ship. You know, so if you've got a specific piece in mind, I can ship it right out. And we do custom framing, so we can do the pieces in any size that you need.
You brought up custom framing, and you have different pieces here that are in the same photo, but in different frames.
Right.
How important is that framing?
The framing is it's very important. It finishes it. It makes that home decor And I also use antique and vintage frames. We repair them if we have to. Most of the time we don't have to repair them, but you'll see old frames on the walls too, which makes that piece unique. You won't see that piece in anybody else's home because it's in a frame that they can't purchase. So that piece is one of a kind. And but you know, not everybody's into the antique and vintage, so we do the more traditional framing also.
Leann, let's talk about some of the individual pieces that you have on display and that you have.
Okay.
First of all, tell us about the road home and the different frames that you use and what different feelings that are inspired because of the framing itself.
Oh, the framing makes all the difference. The format makes all the difference. I have it framed in silver, which is how it hangs in my home because I have a lot of wood. And I like the without the mat because I feel like I can step into it more. I also have it framed, the exact same print, in matted and framed. But the difference is just phenomenal. I mean, it doesn't take away from the meaning of the print. It doesn't take away from, on the road home, the perspective doesn't change. I don't like to change the perspective, but the framing makes the difference. And some people like the dressier, matted wood style. I also have it in a smaller format with kind of a plain country frame. So just depends on where you want to put it. And just depends on how you like it and how it fits into your decor. Are you going to make it the central piece? Then we need to go big. If it's going to be over a desk or over in a smaller space, then we go smaller and make it fit. And it's all in the framing.
Let's talk a little bit then about Rosie's Joyride, how you obtained the picture in the first place, and then what the different framing does to that particular piece.
Rosie's Joyride was sheer luck. Right place, right time. I went because I was going out to shoot the Chesterville Bridge because I knew they were bringing it down. Iron bridges are becoming almost as hard to find as barns anymore, so I was out shooting it in the snow. I hadn't got it in the winter. And when I pulled up, she's coming on the other side of the river in a one-horse sleigh. And I'm going, okay. When she got on the bridge, I held my camera up so she could see it because she's Amish, and I won't be disrespectful. If they tell me no, it's no. But I'm thinking, please don't say no. And she kept coming across the bridge, but when she saw my camera, she shook her head yes. So I gave her a second to look away so I didn't get her face, which is what they don't want, graven images of their faces. And I got Rosie coming across the bridge in a one-horse sleigh, and I found out she was Rosie because I had a gallery out at Rock Home Gardens, and she walked in and she goes, yep, that's my horse. That would be my horse. So that's how I found out her name is Rosie. And that's why it's called Rosie's Joyride. She was just out having a good time. She had kids on behind her. They were just out having a good time in the snow, and I was in the right place, right time. And that's another one that is framed just so the framing makes the difference with it. Changes the perspective a little bit, depending on the format. If you have a large space, or if you like the matted framed look, and therefore, I'd say for about a year and a half, everybody was into the wrapped canvas. Everybody wanted canvas. Now it's going back to everybody wants it framed because they like that finished look, I think. And Rosie is just depends on which one you like the best. Which one do you want in your home? Which one goes with your home decor? I do my...
Okay, talk to me a little bit about the difference that the actual print makes.
No, the medium that you use to print it on makes all the difference in the world. I use a canvas that I print. Some prints take it beautifully, like the Blue Creek. I think it adds some depth, it adds the detail. but I still frame and glass it. Other prints don't look so good on canvas. But I have different paper mediums that I use to print the fine art print. And sometimes it'll be a deep gloss that accents the blacks. Other times it's a matte that kind of allows the print itself to take on the glow or the life. You just have to determine. I also print on watercolor paper to give it the, after I've painted or done some artwork on it, the watercolor paper brings out that effect that I'm after. So it just depends. And again, like depending on if I do special effects on them, if I sketch them, if I paint them, it just depends what I see when I look at them. It determines what I do with them. The other example is the porch, the one I call the porch. I have it framed in a primitive frame with no mat, because the porch itself is very primitive. But then it's also matted and framed over here in a totally different manner, and it's the same exact print, but it takes on a new life in that mat and that frame. So again, it's whatever you like. And what goes in your home. I did a special order on that one, a custom order, where she had it framed in a gray. It was a very large print, framed or matted in gray with the large black frame around it. It looked fantastic. You know, she was going to put it over her bed, so it had to be in a large format. It looked fantastic, and she couldn't be more pleased with it when she saw it. So, you know, it just depends.
Who does the framing for you? Do you do that, or?
No, I help choose the matte colors in the frames, but John Hove, he builds my frames. He does the custom work. He starts from scratch. He does not buy molding. He buys raw wood and starts the process from there. But he is the one that does all my framing for me, unless it's an antique or vintage frame, and then my husband has learned how to repair those, and he will handle the antique and vintage side of it, where John does all of the custom handcrafted wood frames for me.
Start you. A lot of people will put up artwork that is seasonal and reflects the actual time of year. And you have some very wonderful pieces here depicting different kinds of year in the area. One of them is called Early Spring.
Yes, and that's over in the Paris area off of Route 1 out in the country, where the land just starts to roll a little bit. And a lot of people from that area have come in and recognized it. They'll say, oh, I know where that's at. It's something Forge. I can't remember the first name of it, but you can tell I got it before the drought hit. But that one, and it's funny because people think, when they look at it, some people say, oh, that's Wisconsin. I'll say, no, that's Central Illinois. Well, that is, they think it's someplace other than in Illinois. And everybody says, oh, I've been there, but it's never where they think it is. So they really haven't been there. It just triggers their memory because of the shot. But we've had people come in from that area and order it for their home. And yes, I do change out seasonally, especially over the fireplace. But the pieces that really mean a lot to me stay up. I don't care what season they are. But early spring is great for the spring, getting into summer. The Road Home and Rosie, they're my winter pieces. And this one with the horse and buggy on the brick street couldn't be more Arcola. And again, right place, right time. Beautiful fall. It's great for fall. And I matted the colors around it to bring that fall look out. So yeah, you know, changing them out seasonally, and when you bring them out after they've been away for a while, they're new again. So that's and yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about some of your black and white work that's not necessarily winter,
right?
Because obviously that's going to be mostly black and white work or blue. But you also have a piece called the gazebo.
Yes, they do. And it is behind me here. The house, I found it was an old Victorian falling down, but it was the gazebo that got my attention. The paint's peeling, the light was coming through, but the porch swing is still up in the gazebo. And I could see a couple every evening or every morning just having their coffee and swinging and talking. It became personal when I spotted the porch swing. And it's one that I also print on canvas because of the depth. And it hangs in California, it hangs in Texas, it hangs all over the country. Most of the bigger pieces do. I've shipped all over the United States. But the gazebo, people, once they see it, it becomes personal, just like it did with me. Like I said, the house got my attention, but the gazebo got the print. And
tell me then, why do you continue doing this? What does this really mean for you? What does it mean when someone purchases your portraits?
When they purchase my work, number one, I always have this, wow, they liked it, you know. But I also know they purchased it because it touched something within them. And they may not even know what it is. And it depends on the piece. The road home, and I usually define it this way, but the road home is a journey. It is your journey. Rosie is a moment in time. She'll always be Rosie on that bridge with the horse. That is the difference. And it just depends where you're at and what you're feeling. The gazebo became personal when I spotted the swing. So there's different little pieces within that shot that makes it something different for everybody. And when they purchase it, it makes my heart smile, because I know that I did something good for them, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Well, thank you very much for being here today with us and talking with us, and that kind of adventure that you sent us on about your life and why you do this. Again, give me the address and the website for Main Street Gallery.
Main Street Gallery, 126 East Main, Arcola, Illinois. 217-268-5050 is our phone number. You can contact us at www.mainstphoto-arcola.com. You can go on and you can check out my work there. Several galleries and several prints that you won't see here in the gallery. And anything can be done custom. Take a few minutes and drive down and check it out. If you like what you see on the website, give me a call. I work a lot over the internet, but yeah, welcome. I would welcome you here anytime. And I would be excited to share it with you.